Hi, I'm Pam from YMCA Tayside.
Hi, I'm Mia from YMCA Tayside. I'm a youth worker.
Oh, I'm youth work manager.
So what do we do here at the Y? Like, what is youth work?
So youth work, I think youth work's a term that I think people assume they know what it's about because they've been to clubs or done things when they were a younger person. But for us, youth work is having activities for young people and working alongside, we quite often use the phrase buy-in with young people. So I think some of the principles behind what we do are that the activities that we're involved in or how we connect with young people is about being on their terms and them setting the parameters of how much they want to be involved with us and in what way they want to be involved with us. And that we use the phrase our practice is about being really relational. So connecting with young people in whatever way we can, and then figuring out together what their activities, the things that they want to explore, maybe the journeys that they want to go with us. And so what I mean by that is that young people, you know this, Mia, the young people that come here they're going through adolescence, and that is, you know what it's like. It can be really tricky. There's a lot of pressure just at home, or within yourself. You're figuring out who you want to be, or you're at school and you're thinking about future career options, or just the day-to-day and routine of managing yourself, your mental health, going to school, the routine of all of that can have pressures in and of themselves. And so we have lots of different parts of our work where we work with young people on a one-to-one basis, or we open up this fantastic centre and we have what we call drop-in spaces. So it's just that we have times when young people come in together with their friends with no particular agenda, but it's a safe place to hang out. But that's usually the first point at which they connect with us. Or there's kind of what we would call targeted work, where we maybe have work with partners where schools maybe have said to us that we've got these young people and we think they're struggling with this. Could you come alongside and work with us on projects? Or we do maybe a slightly more structured clubs, not always in here, but in different locations and around Perth. And there's always crazy things that happen in here, as you know, like we'll be doing trips or events, or this thing comes up and it's like, oh wow, we can go and suddenly do this thing together, or young people come up with projects that they want to do. So youth work is hard to pin down as what it exactly is, but we come back to these principles of working alongside young people in whatever way that they will let us into their lives, for as long as they will let us in their lives, to be with them along that journey. But you know that better than most people. You have been involved with the Y and with youth work for a long time. Do you want to maybe share a bit about your journey and what that's looked like for you?
Yeah. So I think I was 15, nearly 16 when I first got involved in the Y. And I was just hanging out with my friend one day, and they'd been involved in the Y for longer than I had. And do you know, we were good friends, and so I just tagged along with them one day. They said anyone could come along, do you know, join in. And ever since that day, I've never really left. Do you know, I went to the youth club. I think I attended that for maybe a month or two before I started getting more involved. So I did the more structured youth club with a youth worker there, do you know, not really going in and out. You're just there for the session, hanging out with your friends. And then I started attending the drop-ins, so which was a bit more free. Do you know, we could go in and out as we pleased, a bit chiller. And then I also joined the Youth Voice project. So I was one of the first members of Youth Voice for the Y, which I think was really interesting because the Y was navigating what Youth Voice was, as well as us. So we had a big part in involving this lovely building, and some of the interior and looking.
Sorry, what is Youth Voice?
So Youth Voice is a project to empower young people. Do you know, something that they pick the project from start to finish. For us, there was, I believe, 5 of us, and we decided to do a task based on the new building we were moving into. and making the interior the best fit for young people and a space that they felt was theirs. And so we felt empowered through doing that because we knew that this space was going to be for young people similar to us in similar situations that could come along and just feel that it was a really safe space and had every activity that they could ever want. And I think Youth Voice was one of the things that got me much more involved in the Y. You know, you had to speak to other staff members, get to know more people, and actually go about and do some more research about what the Y is, rather than just going in and being there for an hour and going home. So that was really great for me. And I think during that time, the youth workers that were there at the time were just really great and really encouraging. And I then went on to university about a year later, which in my second year I did a placement, which again was at the Y. And there was a bit of a gap for me during that time, but there was always constant communication. If I was ever in the city and saw somebody, they'd always be really lovely and try and get me to come back to the Y, you know. So when I was told we were doing a placement, I was studying community education, and youth work definitely falls into that. It's one of the topics we were learning about. And I thought that was really interesting. They helped me, so wanted to learn some more. So I reached out to my old youth worker. She said, absolutely, we do placements here all the time. We sorted it out, and I did a, I believe, 3-month placement at the Y. And after that, straight after, actually, I became a sessional worker. So I was doing 8 hours a week alongside my uni degree. And then after I completed my second year, I decided that uni wasn't for me. It was too much work, too much theory work that just wasn't the path I wanted to go down. So I reached out to the Y. My hours picked up a bit more. I went on to a contracted part-time. And from there, just slowly built up, and now a full-time youth worker. And I love it. Do you know, it very rarely feels like a job. I just feel as though I'm coming along as a young person until a situation happens and I need to be the adult and deal with it. But I think, I feel like I knew once you join the Y, you know, it's so hard to leave. You know, even if you move away and come back, once you're here, you know, you're in it for the long run. And yeah, I couldn't imagine leaving the Y anytime soon.
And just one final question is, what difference do you think youth work has for young people?
I feel like there's so many answers to that. Like for me, it was just something completely different to anything I'd ever experienced. You know, I'd done sports clubs, I'd done like schools group after school. I never really felt like any connection within it. Whereas I think youth work is anytime I went into the sessions when I was younger, I felt included. I felt like they wanted me there. And also it was my space. You know, if I wanted to bake some cupcakes, they would buy the ingredients and bring it for me. Do you know, all I needed to do was say a word and it was there. Do you know, it genuinely felt like it was my space, and that I was in control, even though, you know, the youth workers were the ones that brought it in and did it all. But you definitely do feel more empowered, and it is your space. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your story, Mia. This is part one of several podcasts from YMCA Tayside. So if you are interested in finding out more, follow us on ymcatayside.com.